This is a presentation by Andrew Pott, an overview of the SFG Box and the app to the National Department of Agriculture. What is the SFG Box? Well, quite simply, it's a self-watering vegetable or fruit tree grower box which is made from recycled polypropylene plastic and which flat packs into a kit that is economically efficient to transport. This shows basically a wicking tray, which is what we use for the self-watering process. The picture on the right is a cutaway of half the box. The perspex is just allowing you to look into the box, and it's showing you the self-watering mechanism at work. You can see the darker colored soil. That is water that has moved up via natural processes, via a process of capillary action into the soil profile. If it rains, for example, and it makes the soil too wet, the water drains from the growing medium into the reservoir below. Why self-watering? Self-watering is an misunderstood or not well understood mechanism of irrigation. What you're seeing here is an abstract of a research document from Australia, and the areas highlighted are quite interesting to read. Let's go through it. It's basically saying that they did a test on the efficiency of the wicking or self-watering systems, and the results showed that the wicking beds or WBs performed as well as or better than precision surface irrigated pots, showing statistically significant improvement in water use efficiency, yield, and fruit quality. Now, bear in mind that surface irrigation pots normally would need some form of a soil measurement, possibly a pump, to get the irrigation done correctly. The self-watering mechanism, there's no pumps, no electricity, no measurements at all. It's all Mother Nature. The other interesting thing is to see that the wicking beds were more labor efficient, requiring significantly less frequent watering to achieve the same or better water use efficiency. Wicking beds are inherently low-tech and scalable and appear well suited to a variety of urban agricultural areas or settings. In terms of the flat packing the box, we can get up to 1,500 of these boxes on an interlinked truck, and that allows for very economic, efficient transportation of the boxes. The SFG box is a self-watering vegetable and fruit tree grow box. What you're seeing here is the packaging, the flat packed box. Once it's flat packed, it fits in this box, and you're just seeing some components of the SFG box here. The key secret sauce of the box is the self-watering mechanism, and how we achieve that is via these what we call wicking trays. There's 4 of them. The sides of the box will come up here. You can see some already established boxes over there with the sides. And what happens is that your growing medium makes contact with the water. This reservoir over here holds up to 30 liters of water, which can keep your plants irrigated for literally a few weeks before top-up is needed of the reservoir. The side panels of the box and all the components are extremely durable. They are very strong and will last for many years indeed. I haven't got all the components here. I'm just trying to show how everything works. Let's move across over here to a planted box. You can see the water filler pipe over here, which basically goes down and empties its water into one of these holes over here. You'll also see below here a water level gauge. So this reservoir, it's been raining over here, this reservoir is full of water. I mentioned that the box is suitable for not just vegetables but also fruit trees. In this case we've got a citrus tree which is growing with some vegetables, and this fruit tree actually offers the vegetables some protection. You can see the leaves over here have got some holes in it. That's from a recent hail event, and the leaves below the fruit tree were actually spared from the hailstones. Also, there was a very hot event and the fruit tree provided shade to the crops below. But back to the the reservoir. If we do need to flush the reservoir, there is a release valve over here, or a flush valve, and it's as simple as opening it up and the reservoir can be emptied. These boxes do have caster wheels below, but the caster wheels are optional extras. In terms of the planting, you will see the square grids. The grids are important, the square foot, because we follow the square foot gardening method of growing crops, which is that methodology is captured in our app, which helps to make it very easy for people to grow their own crops. In terms of the SFG app, it's been laid out in such a way that it can be used by users with any device, so that be it an Apple or an IoT system or a Windows system. It's web-based, so it's not what we call a native app. You don't install it on your device. You basically just go to a website and you're able to access it with a login and password username. There is a front end to the app, which this is the front end is what the actual grower or the user will see, the learner. And it's been laid out in such a way to show the information with as many pictures as possible, because we realize that some folks will not be able to read English, some people might not be able to read at all, and we need to get or convey the information as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So essentially the workflow is that when the user comes in and clicks on the crop, it's showing you all the crops that can be planted in this specific month. If I want to choose all the months of the year, I'll just choose all. But for the purposes of this presentation, let's just go with this. If the user is interested in, for example, tomatoes, they'll click on the tomatoes. And now we have to recognize that there are many different varieties of tomatoes, not just one. And each of those varieties will have different growth patterns, different yields. The products are used for will vary. So, for example, you might get some tomatoes which are used for tomato sauce. Others are used for sun-dried tomatoes. So here we are. We've got some pictures over here. The system will also provide you information about the competitors and the companion crops. There's media information that has been included. So the competitor crops are crops that you should not grow together with this specific crop. Companion crops can result in a better yield. And let's just now take the Rhodade. So now we want to say we are interested in the Rhodade, and the system will then provide a significant amount of information about when to plant, how to plant, what the nutritional values are. So for example, we go into the nutrition. So there is a lot of information that is captured regarding that. If I go back now to the homepage and we then go into the bottom over here, you'll see settings. I mentioned that there's a front end and a back end. In the back end, that is what the department users can see, and it's capturing all the information. So the department can actually capture the details of the crops, add information about the yields, etc., etc. All the app user details are captured, the roles of the administrators, etc., who's received boxes, the grower progress, videos can be uploaded, or pictures can be uploaded of the user progress. And food gardens is where a number of boxes are donated to one central area. So the back end is there for pretty much monitoring and evaluation, so that the department can track the details of who the users are, where they are, how they're doing, etc., etc. So that's the app in a nutshell. Just in terms of the big picture, just rounding off on the project, we have chosen the self-watering because that's vital for the irrigation aspect. It's the size of the box has been chosen to be that size so it can be moved relatively easily. That is what we term a climate smart sort of a design, because we need to be able to move the boxes out of harm's way, for example, a hailstorm, or you might need to move it into the sun, and the pattern of the sun between the summer and the winter changes, so you can move the box around. The box does have fittings for caster wheels, but those are optional extras. And the other thing is that the box is, of course, made out of recycled plastic, The box weighs about 10 kilograms, so it's manageable. It's very easy to assemble, very quick to assemble. And out of everything, including in the app, there are educational, the app shows people how to replicate the system in terms of it's explaining how the self-watering mechanism works, and people can replicate the box by making use of readily available cost-effective materials. For example, an old bucket could be used as the reservoir. The sides of the box could be used, you could use a pallet, for example. You could use plastic bags for the ropes, etc. And the compost, which is of course the growing medium, can and should be made by everyone. So this is a system that can be replicated. The idea is that the department donates one box to a destitute family, and the family uses it, sees the results, are encouraged by it, and they then go on and replicate the system on their own. Thank you.